Hey, it's Lilox, and before I get into this video, I feel like a few disclaimers need to be said. It's kind of early in the morning. Early for me, it's only like 10 or 11 or something like that. But the sun is gonna be peeking in and out quite a bit and messing with my lighting, so I'll try to fix it as often as possible, but sometimes I just won't care and I won't fix it. This video contains talk about periods. If you are not mature enough to handle something like this, if you're a Mac user, on your left there will be a red button that you can click, and if you're a PC user, just click the X on the right side. I think my cat's taking a shit. Let's give him a moment. Please excuse my disheveled look. I didn't really care to get pretty this morning. And yes, this is a curtain. I'm sitting by my window right next to my heater, so please excuse any small weird noises. It's not in your head. I honestly don't even know how to start. It's something that's not very easy to talk about, and I haven't quite come to terms with it yet, so I still am not quite sure how I'm gonna speak about it. I guess I'm just gonna be talking how I talk, making no sense and just kind of spitting out whatever comes to my head. I'm 24 years old, and at my age, that's the age where you kind of start thinking about, you know, the future, your husband, what your kids are gonna look like, what your future's gonna look like, where you're gonna be living, things like that. And to have one of those things basically taken away from you is not like how, I don't know. It's not quite confirmed yet by a doctor. This isn't a self-diagnosis whatsoever. This is like a legit thing that's happening to me. It's just so young though. Like I don't really understand why this is happening to me so abruptly. And the sun's coming out. I'm not making any sense right now, so I should just jump to the beginning. This all basically started happening a couple years ago, maybe 3 or 4. I'm not quite sure. I wasn't really keeping track of this problem until it actually became a problem. Basically, I just took this like period tracker and started tracking my periods and things like that. When you're like 19 years old or 20 and you skip your first period, obviously the first thing you're gonna think is like that you're pregnant. Obviously I was not pregnant. I never had sex without using protection. And of course, you know, the first few times that it started happening to me, it was being dismissed as, you know, too much stress and things like that. So, you know, I tried to calm down and, you know, think happy thoughts and get new hobbies or some bullshit like that. Once I started going 3, 4, 5, 6 months without a period, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I have to be pregnant. So of course, you know, test after test, negative. I go to a gynecologist or whatever, they check me, there's nothing there. I kind of just let it go for a while because obviously these doctors are not telling me anything and I don't know what to do. There's nothing that I could personally do to fix this problem. I started actually just frequently going to see doctors or whatever like last year. After going the 3rd time without having a period for 6 months, and I was just sick of it. I'm like, no, there's something wrong with me. Do I have fucking cancer or something? They checked me out, there was nothing there. I kind of like suggested maybe PCOS, and they never really confirmed it. This fucking so-called practitioner just fucking rolled with it. So she just says I have PCOS because I suggested that it could be that. I don't think I have PCOS. There are certain very obvious symptoms of PCOS that I don't have, so I don't think that that is the case. I just suggested that that could be it because I did some vague ass research on the internet, brought it up as a question, and then she just fucking rolled with it. I went to this other place close by and they took blood tests. Of course, they always take blood tests. Basically, they'll test you for gonorrhea, chlamydia, FSH, estrogen, all that kind of stuff, because problems from chlamydia and gonorrhea can lead to, you know, crazy shit going on in your body. Thank goodness I didn't have that, clearly. So come to find that I get a call like 2 days later telling me that I have to go back in and pick up some kind of referral and make an appointment to an endocrinologist. So an endocrinologist studies hormones, like very specifically hormones of the female body, I don't know if it's the male too, whatever. They told me my FSH was really high. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I get this piece of paper. She didn't really explain anything to me. She just told me my FSH is high, go make an appointment. So I'm looking at the paper that they gave me to give to someone else so that they can make this appointment. This paper is saying that my FSH level is 113. So I'm like, okay, what is this, like, not normal? I'm assuming this is not normal if I have to make an appointment to this endocrinologist, right? I'm home and I'm looking up what this FSH thing is. FSH basically stands for follicle stimulating hormone, and what this hormone is responsible for is it comes as a signal from the brain to your uterus, well, to your ovaries. What it does is it tells your ovaries to make your eggs mature. It's basically a big ass cycle, right? So FSH starts like up here. So what this does is sends a signal down to your ovaries telling it, hey, get an egg ready for production so that, you know, once your period is done, you can release it and hopefully we can get pregnant this time. So once your eggs start maturing and they're already matured, the ovary releases the egg, so the estrogen level starts to rise. The estrogen level starts to rise up here while the FSH level is going down. So it becomes this big ass cycle here, and then once the estrogen is up here, the egg is already basically in your uterus and your FSH level is down here because its work is done. If your estrogen figures out that you didn't get fertilized or you're about to have your period, the level starts to go down. The FSH level starts to rise because you're having your period and you need to get another egg ready to be matured so that by the time your period finishes, you can release the egg. So that's basically what happens. So basically what's going on with my body is that because the FSH level cannot somehow communicate with my ovaries, the FSH level is climbing and staying high because it just cannot get the ovaries to start working, so the number stays really fucking high. This is like when you have a car that runs perfectly at like the speed limit, 30 miles an hour, right? It works perfectly running 30 miles an hour, but you want it to go fast. You want it to hurry up and get to its destination. You're pressing all the way down on the gas, but it still can only go 30 miles an hour. So you're wasting all the gas, but the car's only going 30 miles an hour. That's basically how it works. The FSH level is rising and rising and rising, kicking it to high gear, trying to tell my ovaries to release an egg, but it's not fucking working. That's basically what it means. A fully functioning uterus, ovary, vagina system going on in a female body, you know, they have this cycle once a month, right? So the FSH level doesn't have to work so hard to get your ovaries working. So the appropriate level of FSH, if this cycle is working properly once a month, is less than 10. I'm at 133 the last time I checked. This level comes from a woman who is postmenopausal, which basically means I have the vaginal system of someone who's like 99. I'm not postmenopausal because I still get my period once every few months, but this means that basically my ovaries are in trouble and they're not working. That makes it essentially impossible for me to have children. It's just so funny because I grew up saying that I never wanted children, that I hated children. I was like, kids fucking suck, I hate them, I never want to have kids, I want to marry someone who doesn't want children or anything like that. That was my life memo. No children for me. No children at all. Something in the universe heard my message and was like, oh, you don't want kids? I bet. So you're not going to have any ever. And that's basically what's happening now. I can't have kids. It's not that I cannot have children. It's just because of the nature of how my ovaries work now, there is no way. There's no way to plan for it. There's no way for me to be able to have children naturally without some kind of help. For women out there who are infertile like myself, trying to have a kid takes years. And sometimes your period comes randomly and you feel like shit because you've been trying really hard with your partner and even that didn't work. Did we miss that one day where the egg just died and then we weren't able to get to it? And this could not have come at a worse time. Like I actually told my boyfriend, I want to have a baby. I told him this, and you know how hard it was for me to like kind of admit that. Like, I finally got the baby fever, and then it kind of came to fruition, like this epiphany is like, I need to have a kid. This little twinkle, this thought of mine started becoming a dream. It started becoming a dream. And then my sister had a baby. She didn't even have to try. And it broke my heart because my boyfriend and I were planning. We were planning. We're like, okay, I would like to have a summer baby. Oh, we should kind of start trying now just in case, but you know, I kind of want to have a baby within the next couple years. You know, my period's a little in, so maybe we should start trying now. So I was planning, but then it just got worse. I can't do any of these crazy treatments unless it's basically free, because I can't afford something like IVF, donor eggs. I don't want to have donor eggs. I want my own genes and my boyfriend's genes. Like, I want this to be done the natural way, and it can't be done now. I guess the universe has answered me. My sister was able to pop a baby without even trying. My mom popped 5 kids, like, but me, just me here. Hey, no kids, can't have any. And right now what's happening is I'm waiting to hear back from this genetics test that I took with this woman at a hospital. We're gonna try and see if I could possibly have Turner syndrome or Fragile X or Triple X. Those are kind of like mutations in the gene that can contribute to problems like this. That's the gist of it, really. That's what's that's the update, I guess. But my niece is beautiful. I'll give her all of the care that I can give her as an aunt, and hopefully, you know, one day I'll get pregnant, maybe, and I won't have to worry about anything anymore. Just one. Thank you guys for listening and watching and understanding, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.